What up, yo? It's a Guru Jojo. I want to talk about the benefits and I basically would talk about the pros and cons of detachment. And the reason why I want to speak about this topic is I'm going to tell a story first that's going to make sense. Drown the pain with a cold 40. Telling dreams, tell story. Blurry 40, very 40. Forgot the details. So, understand this story that I'm about to tell. This directly relates to the experiences that I face pretty much on a weekly basis. I'm serious. This is like the type of interactions I have quite often. So, I went to McDonald's, all right, yesterday, technically. It was like, it doesn't matter. It was late at night. I went to McDonald's. I live a backwards kind of life, which I may be changing it. My schedule is backwards. Like, I'm up when nobody else is up. Like, right now, it's like 5:30 a.m. That's why the birds are chirping and stuff. So, because, like, the sun is about to come back out soon. So, anyways, I went to McDonald's to get some hotcakes and an ice cream sundae. Now, I wanted the hot fudge sundae. They ran out. So, let me tell you a story. I go to McDonald's to drive through. I went to the good McDonald's. Like, this McDonald's, they restructured and everything. It's like really nice. You can go inside. You can order with kiosk. Currently, you can't right now. They're only doing drive-through. So, I go to the drive-through. I order the hotcakes. And then I'm like, oh, can I order a hot fudge sundae? We ran out of fudge. We only have caramel. Cool, boom. Can I have the caramel sundae then? All right, cool. And they didn't tell me to drive up to the first or second window. Normally, for some reason over here, I don't know about over by where everyone else lives, but we always like gotta go to the second window. I don't even know why we have a first window because nobody ever goes to it. Like, they always say just drive up to the second window. I don't know if it's because maybe like, no, even if I go to someplace early, they always tell me to drive up to the second window. So anyways, this McDonald's, usually you drive up to the first window, but the guy never said anything. So I drive up to the first window and I see like these two ladies hanging out in the back. So I'm just like, all right, let me just go to the second window. So I go to the second window and this lady comes out. Like, I've seen this lady a couple times before. She's this like older black woman. It's not funny, but she has like no teeth and stuff, so she kind of like talks a little bit funny, but it's besides the point. So I go to get my food. I go up to the window and I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if I was supposed to pay at the first window or the second window. She goes, there ain't nobody at the first window. So I'm just thinking like, all right, whatever. Even though there was, it's just that the people were like in the back having a conversation, but whatever. So I was just like, okay. So I just hand her over my flipping card to pay for my food. And she hands me she like, swipes my card, gives me my card back, doesn't give me a receipt, doesn't say anything, okay? And then, like 3 minutes later or so, she gives me my food, doesn't say anything. Now, my food's in like the bigger bag because the hotcakes, they put it in like a bigger plastic bag at McDonald's, like, because the hotcakes container is like kind of big. So I'm like, okay, I guess maybe these idiots put my ice cream sundae in the bag with the hot food. So I check the bag, but it's not in there. So I look at the lady in the window, right? And she just stares back at me. Like, I'm looking at her and then she's just like, so I'm like, I also ordered a caramel sundae. And suddenly, like, the person just pulls, like, the caramel sundae was sitting there, I think. I'm not sure. But suddenly, like, it's noticeable. Like, I can see it. And she sees it too. And you know what she says to me? So I say to her, I'm like, I also ordered a caramel sundae. She goes, this is caramel. And then she just stares at me. Like, literally, we're just staring at each other. So then I'm like, okay, but I ordered it. And she's like, oh. She's like, oh, wait a minute. So she calls some other person, and then all of a sudden, a goddamn McFlurry sundae is there too. Like, they place the sundaes in where you put like the drinks in those like containers. They place a flipping McFlurry sundae on there too. Suddenly, this lady gives me like $3 back and the caramel sundae and the McFlurry sundae. I just take it and leave. I'm like, let me just check my like Chase Bank app just to make sure that like this makes sense after the fact. Normally, I would give like money back when I receive extra money just because like I've had jobs where I was like a cashier, and when your till is short, you get in trouble. So I'm just like, I'm usually one of those people, I'll give the money back if I was given extra money by accident. But in this case, I just left. Like, I'm just like, you know what, whatever, because like I just wasn't in the mood. Like, I'm just so tired of experiencing situations where people have a lack of communication. Mistakes happen, but I just feel like there are certain circumstances where if the communication was improved, and in such a job like working at McDonald's or working anywhere, just like work in general usually requires a pretty decent level of communication. And I just feel like all my life I've always been in contact with people who just do not communicate well at all. And it just makes no sense to me because they'll work in environments where communication is quite important. Because if she would have just communicated, like gave a signal of certain things, the transaction would have went much smoother. Now, I know this is a simple situation, but this is like this type of experiences I have quite often, and it's so annoying. Like if she would have just handed the bag, like after she handed me the bag, I said, thank you. Like she should have said something like, thank you, have a good night. Because that would have given me like a signal that she completed the order, and I would have been able to just check my bag or whatever, even though she didn't complete the order, but she thought she did. To her, that was enough to say. Like, just handing me the bag and not saying nothing, that was my cue to drive away and leave. She didn't know I ordered the ice cream sundae. Maybe spiritually she did. Maybe that's why. No, because I've experienced the transaction with that lady before and she still didn't say shit. So, I don't know. Maybe it's because she has no teeth. I don't know. But yeah. So anyways, my point being is that, the ladies seem to be very detached. And I noticed that with detachment, there's generally two outcomes. The first outcome is the pros, the benefits of being detached. You can obtain a lot of wisdom and knowledge because you're able to detach from your emotional experience, and you're able to actually just see the bigger picture of situations, because you could kind of link things together, like link one experience to another experience, and you can see other people's experiences and understand on a broader perspective as to what's actually going on, and therefore you'll have like a lot of wisdom and knowledge because you're seeing things in like a godly type of perspective. On the other hand, the issue with this is that there's an issue with the application of the information you're receiving. So for example, I said to the lady I ordered a caramel sundae, and for some particular reason she took it like it was a trivial question and said this is caramel. But that wasn't the point to be applied to the situation. Like, she should have been able to apply what I said to the current circumstance, which I am a customer who said I ordered a caramel sundae, and she should have looked at it and thought, maybe I should give it to the customer. Instead, she just answered like it was a trivial question. And this is the type of stuff that happens quite often. It's like, for some reason, I communicate with people who seem to not be able to apply the things that I'm saying to the proper situation, to the current circumstance, or they only apply things like directly to what they can see or something like that, like instead of the broad dynamic. It's like hard to explain, but it's weird. It's weird. It's like they only pay attention to a certain amount of information, like instead of, they pay attention to the alternative too much, the wrong things. People pay attention to the wrong things. And that's the problem with detachment, is that like people could utilize that gift of detachment to apply it to anything that like supports their ego or their prejudice or their, it's like they use it towards a confirmation bias, to an ego protection. It's weird. And it's just like, Why do that? Like, detachment is something that not everyone can do. Some people be too much in their feelings to the point that they can't detach to see the broader dynamic. But it's like this like new modern day way of detachment is still secured by this like ego thing. So it's like a fake. It's a fake detachment because really there's still an attachment to some sort of lower emotions and feelings. How do you do that? I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say in this video. Thank you for watching. Peace out.